G'day and welcome to this video, which is kind of bits and pieces again. Few parts. I've written myself a little list. Alternator for the Sigma came, a new Bosch one. We've got the 351 under here for the XA, which I'm a little bit worried about because I've had all this flooding, and it's flooded again today because there's more and more rain. 2 weeks out of summer, which is crazy. So I pull that out. We take a few bits off that and have a look at it. I threw another 3 grey motor carburettors together. There was a whole lot of stuff I forgot I had when I did Graham's. We did that on that live feed. So have a quick look at that. Not much really on that. And of course I've got to get the Starlet, the white one, finished. I wasn't supposed to be doing any more Starlet videos, but there is some content, quite a lot of content on here. If you don't want to watch that just at the end of the carburetor or whatever, there's it starts on the Starlet. You can finish it there if you don't want to watch it. But it's kind of the same sort of content I've done before, but I did want to get that car finished for Graham. And there'll be one more episode where there's more content on that, to the point where I finish it. 1 or 2. I don't know. There's a whole lot of things I wanted to talk about in this video. One was a reproduction GT wheel-up board for the XA, even though it's an XWXY one. It's got a really, it's got a really good point about it, and a point that I'm not too keen about it, but very cheap, and we'll talk about that in the next video. The seat cover for the CB350F is here. I haven't fitted it yet, but I'll do that in the next video as well. I wanted to do that today, as well as doing a boarded motorcycle jack, just a small one, the same as what Dave had, because I needed to have one here. So the silver 350F is all but finished. It's just that brake rod at the back, which I've got to get, and then that bike's finished. And I've also got a master cylinder for the front of the Suzuki. That's actually on the way now. And so that bike, once I've got the caliper kit for the front, that bike's finished as well. So I want to finish the T250 and the CB350F straight away. Then I'll get back onto the 750 and this guy here, as well as the guard for the XC, the other guards here. So I've got both guards for the XC. So there's a lot of content coming up if it just stops raining and the humidity goes down. So anyway, I hope you enjoy. Right. Unboxing video. I bought a new alternator for our little Sigma, and it comes with my address, which you're not going to look at, a performance report and some instructions and some packaging and more packaging. Oh, an alternator. Great. Okay, let's pull this out and have a look. Right. Pretty hard not to decide on a new one when the old one's so knackered, but at the end of the day, the old one was just so damaged in so many ways. Bearings were gone, slip rings were gone. I don't even think the regulator worked. It was knackered. So that's the replacement. These are used on little Mitzi Sigmas, obviously, but Valiants, and I think some model Porsches use them too. It was quite expensive comparative to other ones from Bosch, namely the Ford ones. You get a bit cheaper because there's more of them around. This one was $312, I think, on the porch, posted. So got a 70mm. Okay, that kind of is a bit of a worry. 70mm, and that's only 60, so I'm going to have to knock that through. 60 or 62. Well, it's probably 63 or so. That doesn't matter. I'll just put a washer in there. She will be right. Now this one, the only good thing about this was when I plated the fan, this thing was covered in oil. That's probably why it died. That Sigma had so many oil leaks on it, or in it, or around it. So that's now trash. Oh, actually, I will check just a couple of mount points. I'll just do some measurements. And if you listen really carefully, you might be able to hear a bit of rain. It's very unusual in these parts. So we've got, what, 180, Perfect. Center line to center line. 180. Beautiful. Okay. I'm going to take a punt and say I reckon that's going to fit. It is physically bigger. And it's a little bit wider or deeper. And it's 55 amp. I think the original one was 35. What does that say? Made in China. Anyway, terminals on the back. We do have to put that little shroud thing on. It's got a suppressor, a little capacitor, and a little D+. We're good to go. This is good. Alright, I don't need that. But I do want to know if that fan's the same. It does look very similar, doesn't it? Oh, that thread's different. Will that fit on here? I think I'm going to have to use this one. Right, now while I've got alternators out, I've got a whole lot of plating I need to get done. All E.J. Holden stuff. XA Falcon. Traditionally, Ford stuff goes gold, Holden stuff goes silver as far as I know. So, does that make any difference to the price if I get a couple of bits and pieces done? I'm not happy at all with this XA Falcon one. If you look at that compared to the Sigma's plating us, there's no comparison. That pulley I think is too small. I might get one of those yellow GT knockoff ones. They make it turn slower for high revving engines, and I don't drive like that, but I don't think it matters for the amount I drive them anyhow, so I'm just going to pop that off. And I'm going to get this one redone. I mean, I'd sooner probably use that. Does this fit? That fits anyway. I could probably just use that. I could leave that, I guess. It's a bit second rate, I reckon. Perfect. If only it wasn't raining, but I do have a cup of tea. This is a healthy little alternator, that one. That's worth keeping. Oh, I see. That's another 6-cylinder Holden one. Or equivalent. So that is not going to work with those sorts of things. That doesn't matter. Let's get it redone. And I think we're good for alternators now. I'm a little bit not happy with what I've seen. I pulled this curtain up before. This is the engine I intend to use on the XA. And all down there, can you see down the bottom there? It's all still damp from all this rain we've had. So I'm going to get it out and have a look, because it's had a lot of machine work done. I don't want it spoiling. I've been sort of contemplating doing it sooner rather than later. I might just move that box just a moment. And there's soaking carpet underneath it, which I've forgotten about. Let's just undo this and have a bit of a look. I don't want any harm done to this. It's sitting on a large plastic thing with a sump on it, but I don't want it holding moisture. So I'm just going to take it out. So this is numbered correct for a ZJ Fairlane, of all things, but it was a virgin bore when I got it, and I got it for a very reasonable price. And Tony had a 351. He was boring and all this sort of stuff. Anyway, he did this at a really reasonable price, because the machine was all set up and said, do you want to bring yours down? And I said, yes, I do. So let me have a bit of a look at it. Now, Clevos aren't hard to get at all. They're everywhere. But original bore ones, in the condition of this one, are hard to get. And so I picked this up. I've taken it to, well, it's been bored 18 thousandths from original. And another 2 for the hone, but the hone wasn't done. Platted hardware, eh? So I'm just going to pop it off and have a look. And throw a bit of CRC down the bores and that sort of stuff. But I don't want any harm coming to it, because I thought this would sit around for a while, because the one from the XC I had for 7 years or something. This one, I can't remember. Oh, I've probably had this about the same now. I don't know. Anyway, let's have a look. This has got a bit of dirty old edge on it. Oh, beautiful. Let's get the camera off. So it's a crack tested crank. This is an Aussie crank. By that, this 4MAs and 4MABs don't have that on there. And you can see down there it's had its hone, it's had its bore, but not its hone. So I'll just get a torch, if I can see where I left it. I use this one, it's not quite as bright. And that all looks pretty good down there, doesn't it? Yeah, that's alright. It's got plastic all underneath it. But we don't want any harm coming to it. I'd be pissed off if it ended up getting rusty. I do periodically have a look. You probably can't see down there, can you? I'll try and turn that thing around so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, sort of like that. I think that's alright. If it's going to rust, it'll rust on the bottom surfaces. So I'll just throw a bunch of CRC on it. The crank's just sitting. They're not tied at all. They're bearing the mains. They're just sitting there, and the crank's just sitting there to keep it straight. I haven't anywhere to store it vertically. You're supposed to actually stand them up, but you know, I've got to take that and get ground too. Anyway, I think I can relax a bit more. I'll throw a bit of CRC down there and put it back under the bench. I've been at this house for 20 years, never ever seen water come up here. You know, you'd always get some in really, really heavy rain, probably once to twice a year. It'd come in the door and just trickle over the other side of the garage. But I've never seen it flood like it has. So I'm going to take all this out. God, there's a bloody worm under there. I didn't even know that that carpet was there. I must have forgotten about it. So I need to clean all this out. These heads, what do they look like? Have they been wrecked? Not really. There's a bit of rusty crap on the bottom of them, maybe. They're not bad at all. They can go back. I think they're sitting on a piece of wood anyway, with cardboard on it. Are they? I can't even feel it. Alright. Where's broom? But yeah, never seen this. And it's all just dirt. Like, I can't even brush it up. But the less debris under there, the less it'll hold moisture. I don't want any moisture being hidden under there. Only a matter of time before it comes back in. I'm sick of this weather. It's summer in 1 month. Shopping. Right. So we've got EJ, that's actually EH, tail shaft housing. I don't know what that is. Is that a crack? I didn't even see that just a minute. Oh, other glasses. It's got a defect in it, but I don't think it is bad. Oh, gee. No, it's just casting. It's just a weird casting. Right, so that's the extension housing, EH Holden. John does a lovely job. It looks like it's rattle can, that's just bare aluminium. So that can just sort of sit back on the gearbox. I went shopping the rear spares, needed one of these for the XW because the tabs on the back of them are very fragile, they break quite easily. Whole lot of copper wire, got to send stuff to Bunnings there. They're XWXY, but I'm using them on the XC as well. Some door switches. I need to stick that on the XD. I'm going to do that in a moment actually, because the other one's been leaking for a while. And that. 2 of those switches. I think I need 4. I thought I had 2, but I think I need 4. Hydroblast in this. That does sound a bit gritty, but that's for the back seat, so that goes off to be plated. And throttle shafts for the Holden. That's the jack for the XC, and push rods. All this stuff, I shouldn't really be touching it. That should be wrapped up in paper to stop it corroding. And these are just all carby bits. So I can put, that one's actually a bit of a mess. I gave Graham the 2 better ones I had, which is fine. And I've got to think about putting these together. I think one of these had a mark in it. That's the gearbox snout, oil slingers and a camshaft thrust, and a few other bits and pieces, and that's about it. That is about it. So I'm going to put this stuff away and I'll be back. I thought this had a weld in it, but it looks like blue tack or something. I don't know what that is. How odd. Right, so I've got a whole bunch of stuff plated. You know, there's that. Alternator bits, all this sort of stuff. A lot of people have mentioned to me using electrolysis for rust removal. And I was talking to Gil about it yesterday, and he also gave me a whole lot of rust or sort of cuts for roof guttering, and also that alternator as well. It came off of Cleveland. It's not actually original Cleveland one, but it'll still work. It'll still be fine. It's got a couple of suppressors there, I don't know why. But anyway, and that's another thing there that can go. I'll probably just paint that one. I won't bother painting that. So I've got to organise a whole lot of stuff, but I will take that pulley and fan off. It's a nice big one, which is what I wanted. It's exactly what I needed actually, because the only one I got is this, which is no good. And I've got a small one attached to something else. Oh, it was off. It used a rebated fan, so it's off that was originally Holden 6, I think, but for the price of getting all this stuff done, which is virtually nothing, I'm going to just do all of them. But I want a nice big one for the Clevo, so I'll take that off and get that done too. Gil's alternator, it is a Motorcraft one, but it's got it's like the Chrysler or the Sigma one, it's got those 2 things. And normally, I thought the Clevo one sort of had that on them, which you could still use this. He pulled it off one, but I'm wondering if it might have been off a 6-cylinder car originally. I'm not sure. I'm just sort of filming this for my benefit more than anyone else's, because there's a few parts. There's obviously a spring washer and a nut. I've got this large half and half pulley arrangement, spacer, a disc, and a fan. There's the alternator. So I did that so I can watch that bit back. I don't know what I'm doing. 3 Strommies. I didn't bother showing it because I did it on the live feed. So anyway, look, here are the 3 carburetors. I feel a bit guilty about this because when Graham came, I pulled all the carburetor stuff out and thought there is another box around somewhere. And of course there was, with another body in it and a bit more hardware. So if he decides he wants to swap one over, it's all good. So this is made out of all the old crap that didn't look very good. And we got 2 in silver and gold. So 1 in gold, 1 in silver. That's the wrong screw. That's for the choke thing, I think. Hang on, where is it? Have I got one that, oh yeah, no, that goes up to the front. So I've got that in wrong, but it doesn't matter. They all seem to be pretty good. I've just put them together with second-hand bits. These are all correct for greys, but I do need to buy rebuild kits for one of them if I run 1 and 2 if I run 2. But I should have enough hardware to make a pair of silver ones or a pair of gold ones. I might have to get a bit more stuff done, but there you go. They're actually a lovely looking little carb. Well, let's have a look at this little Starlet. This is Graham's new automobile, and it's crummy. Let's get a close-up of that goodness. Look at that. Nice. Right, let me explain why I'm a bit of a fool. This thing had a water leak. Now, I thought it was a long-term water leak. I mean, there is some surface rust in that area there, but that's something different. The carpet on that side had a huge mark in it. I thought it was mould. And I bought this car in the summer, and so it didn't leak in the summer. I don't know what it was. I don't know what I was thinking, but anyway, look, the water was leaking. You can't really see, but where the fan goes into the plenum, and that's why I thought there might be a split seam or something like that. And I'll show you what it was. I'll show you what it was. What it is. That. No, this one. Is it this one? Yeah, that one. That loose thing, water's coming down the screen and going in there, dripping off that, running along, and then down through the hole where the heater fan gets its air from. That's it. And I pulled the whole thing apart. Look, that is dry as a bone. That's fantastic. Brilliant. So we've sorted that. Which, incidentally, yep, all dry. Sweet. Now I can put it back together. Now we know the integrity of the car is fine. It's absolutely fine. And so I don't want to give Graham something which is absolutely trashed, even though it kind of is. But I'll put it together. Carpets are lovely and clean. Seats are lovely and clean. This car's going to be a peach. Got another door trim for it there. This car's going to come up great. Another day. I've still got to brush over the front of it. And I've got better guards. These are pretty knuckheads, so you know. And I'll throw a cam belt in for him too. That way he doesn't have to worry. I'll give it an oil change, cam belt. Might put power steering on if I can find that other mount. And he'll get a really, really nice little car. He'll get a lovely car. I've just got to work on the exterior a bit. Oh, that's going to come up lovely. Look at that white. Yeah. All good. Right, so I'm well happy with this. All that, there's no leak anywhere. All that underlay's dry. Nothing down there. So I can go about putting this all back together now. And putting the heater fan back in, which is a bit of a pain because it's designed to go in before the air conditioning unit, if you know what I mean. But I didn't want to degas that because obviously I don't want to have to regas it. We'll take some of these dash clips out and get this all the way it should be. So that's all looking really good. I'm well happy with that. There's just no way I want to give someone a car that has a blasted leak in it. Right, heater fan. Where is it? Oh, it's behind me. Here it is. Make sure it's, whoops. Make sure it's clear inside as well. Yeah, we don't want any foam sitting in the fan. So when it turns on full speed, it's quiet. And the Corolla was noisy. It used to annoy me. They're easy to get to, these in the car. You just take those 3 bolts out and the fan drops in your hand. Make sure this is all tucked up the way it's meant to be. It goes in behind there. Yeah, I think it's going to be easy if I drop the crash bar. That thing, I can't remember how I got it out. Anyway, that should be nice and simple now. That's just mild steel tube, and the car had an interior leak. That's why we've got surface rust on it. These cars don't rust. You do see this sort of thing. The shells are actually dipped, and it's unusual to see that, but that's where grit and so forth has got underneath the carpet and constantly mechanically worn off, if you know what I mean. But these things don't rust, so you don't get, you know, windshield leaks and stuff like that. And the thing I like about them actually is no matter how many windscreen leaks you get, or door seals, or, you know, heater box leaks, all your electronics are protected. That's your SRS module and your ECU, and it's all out of the way of anything that looks like it's going to leak. So I'm not going to do any more for now because I've got to find that other antenna. It's in the shed somewhere, and then I can pop the dash back in. Pretty cool. These are just glorified Meccano, these things, they're easy. Right, we've got a nice new antenna. Well, new second hand. Nice and straight, it's going to work. I actually thought I could break that one, and guess what? Without an angle grinder I can't. So I'm just going to pop this out and replace it. He's got a washer on the bottom too, just in there, I think. Or is it part of the ground plane? I'm not sure. But it's another thing that I've got 2 spare antennas. You know, it's not a bad idea to keep one, but I don't need 2. Yeah, just a sec. Stay there. Right, look, come back here. There we go. We'll just leave that as sort of a snare. Give it a bit of a clean, just so there's no dirty edge on it. That surface rust is still in there, but it's not too bad. So I'm just going to use some thinner wire and see if we get some joy this way. Where's the thing? Piece of foam you have to move just there. It's sort of, pardon me, it goes in the base of the A-pillar at the sill, so you move it so the drain tube for the antenna can get down there, then you can sort of stuff that thing back in. And because it's sort of cleaned around it, it means when we go to sort of clean the rest of the car, it's still going to be nice and spotless around there. Because the rest of the car is disgusting at the moment. But this is good. And any parts I've got which will fit on here that are better than what's there, I'll put on. I did put most of it in the silver car though. There we go. That is much better. All plugged up and fitted. As you could see before, you just got a bunch of clips along the top, a couple of nuts here, one there. It was sort of a self-tapper type thing into the crash bar, and they're secured down the bottom as well. Also, once these lower trims are put on, the bolts go through there and through the glove box on the other side and sort of holds it on in the center at the bottom as well as the edges. So, you know, all up to do that is like friggin' 15 minutes or 20 minutes. It's nothing. It is absolutely nothing. Although I forgot to put the vent in. That was dumb. I better go and find that. Oh, and I forgot to mention these ones at the side. See? Can you see? Where is it? Right, so I just want to check and see if this thing, what gear is it in? Neutral, see if it starts. Oh, hang on a minute. Where's the fan? No, that's the fan. Is that the intermittents? How do you turn that off? Ah, there. Sweet. It goes. Oh, yes. Sounds right, doesn't it? I haven't started it for months. That's alright. Now, before I put the dash in, got a couple of things. Oh, seatbelt warning light. Normally, if you pull the seatbelt, it goes out, which it does. Then it goes on, we let go of it. Goes out, yep, sweet. Airbag won't go off because of that. Dash lights. Right, we've got one there, it's not doing much. Okay, so we need to put a globe in there. I can't see. I don't think that one over there is working. I think these are, but I think that one's out. So I'm just going to turn those off and have a bit of a look. Oh, yes, they work. They just have a little green dinger over a standard micro wedge, whatever you want to call it, mini wedge globe. So that's trash. The one behind the cluster tested all right. So just a moment, let's start him up again. Because I can't really see, I'm just going to leave them on for a second, because when I took the other one out it was warm. But in this light, see, I can see down the side there, but I just couldn't see in the fuel gauge, but probably because I have to look at it from the other angle. Yes, see, it's working. Okay, good. So that means I can just reconnect the speedo cable, stick the cluster in, stick the surround in, put the heater bizzo, oh, the aircon switch, hang on a minute. I do want to check that. Where is it? Where the hell did I put it? Hang on a minute. Silly sausage. That just plugs in like that. Then we should have air conditioning. Alright. Yep. Now where's cold? Cold's that way. I'll just let it run for a minute. The compressor doesn't seem to be cycling too much, or at least I haven't heard it. I remember it, that's why I went to all the trouble when I did this of not disconnecting the air conditioning. The fan's running, so is that one. And the receiver dryer is showing some movement, which means it's low on gas, but not too low as to cut the pressure switch. So I remember thinking, gee, it's got a fairly good air conditioner, so I could do with a top up. Hang on a minute. That's not warm, is it? Which is freaking cold. Is that cold? No, that's direction. That's cold down there, idiot. Oh, here we go. Yep, that's cold. He's going to get cold. He's from Adelaide, so he's going to get really cold. So I am really happy with how this little jalopy's going. It's a good little car. And that's why I'm especially happy it's going somewhere where it's not going to get wrecked. The first things first, I'm going to reconnect the speedo. Where's the speedo cable? I always disconnect the speedo cables. Obviously you need to pull the cluster out. There it is there. And that is, oh, straight. Hang on. Still connected to the gearbox. That's unfortunate. God, that's a dumbass mistake. Hang on a second. Right, here we are, all tested, looking absolutely fantastic. Very pleased with that. I've got Graham on the phone here. There he is, scratching his eye. And so I'm just going to give it a bit of a sweep, bit of a vacuum, and we'll chuck the carpet in. Graham's watching as I do it. Wonderful. Right, well, you can see the car. Actually, on the camera, it looks a lot worse than it does naked eye. That looks terrible on the camera, but in real life, it doesn't look bad at all. It doesn't look as discoloured as that, but it is discoloured. That being said, it is clean. I'm actually quite happy with how that car's looking. You know, considering what it did look like, it was dreadful. So, got to clean up that radio and the heater knobs. All covered in gunk, you know, people crap off people's hands. And also, you see the wiper where it says pull? Very, very dirty. So I'll clean all that up and we'll change the boot mat out. I've got a better boot mat than that too. The only thing that worries me really, there are scratches on the glove box lid and this sort of stuff. And don't think I can help with that. So, all in all, I'm really, really happy with that. Right, so absolutely pelted down with rain yesterday. Well, last night I should say, not a drop. So we're absolutely in the clear, which is good. I've got to put that back up on the A-pillar. I pulled those off to make sure there was no rust coming through or anything like that. Clean that radio up. It's Pioneer. It's got like a little knob that comes out, volume I think that is, I'm not sure. And then the top comes down and you've got your CD. Probably better to show you that way because it does come down. Right, so we'll put that in and discuss it with Graham. Cleaned up those heater controls, they look good. And the next is this console. I'll see if I've got a better one. Graham's pretty laissez-faire with this, I think. I don't think he cares that much, but nevertheless, even if it's a free car, it's got to look alright. Sort of stuff I always just put in sugar soap in the trough in the laundry. And it loosens all this. There's a grain sort of stamped into the plastic or moulded into the plastic, and that sort of cleans that quite nicely. This is a mess. Hang on. Can I focus? Can you see that? That's the sort of thing you will catch tuberculosis from if you touch it. So it needs a good thorough clean, as does this, and that's sort of indicative of the condition the car was in. So I might have a better one. I don't know. There's actually nothing wrong with it. When it cleans up, it'll be fine, I think. Yeah, sort of these sheds out well. Anyway, wow. Until the garage is built, there's another console there. That might be better. This might be better. Why does that feel damp? Bugger, is that leaking? That's not good. Hang on. Why is that damp? Okay. That's a good one. I don't think we need one of those though. What I'm looking at, there's my mouldings for the XC over there. I've got a console. That actually looks great, but it's got a cup holder on the back. I might give him a photograph. Someone's drilled some holes, put a cup holder in. I'll ask if he wants that, because he might want it. Some people are... Well, my kids are really fussy about cup holders. There's another console. Oh, I think it's missing a boot. But the other one's full of scratches, which this probably is now too. But no, that's much better. I think we'll use this console. That's better. So we'll take those two. Right, Graham's made some choices. Some of them are quite poor, he's friendly with me. Okay, two consoles. This is the original one of the car. It was knackered. It's all sort of scratched up in there, but it's okay, it's clean. He doesn't want that, he wants this one. That's out of my grey car, silver car, and has that aftermarket cup holder. Starlets are shocking for not having cup holders. If you use them, you can get Glanzer ones that fit under the radio, but people want like $150 or something. I don't know. Anyway, look, console. This is the console. Looks pretty messed up. I've got a much better one here. This is a much nicer one because this is all sort of scratched. A couple of things you can do with these. They fade. Satin black makes that look great. Not many darts, but some darts have been consumed in here. And your console boot, and don't laugh when I say this, it just unclips and you pull it out. This thing, I had one that looked like that or worse, and I rattle canned it, just dusted it with a bit of grey vinyl paint. That's what I'm going to do with this. So I'm going to clean it first because it's got all sorts of mank on it, and then leave it out to dry, and then I'm going to dust over it. The rest of it is insignificant. Where the hell is my screwdriver? Did I bury it? I brought it up here. I was trying to think, okay, what do I need before I start harping on? Okay, I need a screw stick, and it's up here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay. I'll have to change these. Okay, and this is where, actually no, I think the cup holder goes under here. You just take this off. Idiot. And this slides up, and there's a sort of a shelf underneath it. I thought they went under where the radio did. They might, I'm not sure. I've never really mucked around with those. I thought they went in that sort of module there. I think let's clean that up too. It's a bit manky, but look, it's the best I can do with it. But I've just, the ashtray's nice and clean. I've just dusted over that. Cigarette lighter's all good. The gear boot is what it is. It's some of it's lamination sort of stuff, or the, what do you call it? The bonded stuff on the outside coming off, vinyl. And I've also modified the socket here because the light wasn't working. Fixed that up, popped a new globe in, and that's all good, ready to go in the car. So much better than what it had. It was looking pretty darn good. My only problem is down here. I'm just putting these kick trims on. I'm missing a clip. Well, it still looks a bit dirty under there. Nice. I do have a clip stash, which I've just dropped. I need one of those yellow ones. So that should finish this job off nicely. There's different colours and they look the same, but they're for different purposes. There's clear ones and there's grey ones and all this sort of stuff, but we're using yellow for now. And that will just go in. And if I'm leaning over the camera, I'm sorry, it'll sit there properly. Super. It's not properly, that's properly. So I've washed each of these individually, all these little plastic things for seats. I'll take those off and I'll put these ones on so I can see better. This is only on 98, 99 cars, that's for the seat warning, for the passenger seat. That which I was confused about isn't anything to worry about. All it is the light for the quadrant on the automatics. That is ashtray, and the rest of it I've got tucked away. That was at earth. So that ashtray one just plugs in the back of there. Hang on, let me just bring him down. Like that. I want the carpet underneath it. Damn. Maybe I should have plugged it in first, huh? And that goes in there. Is that in? Hang on. Yep. Ashtray's all lit up, or at least cigarette lighter is. And then that goes down there. And those little clips. Now these clips are different because, oh, hang on. That has to go in from behind. They're a bit of a faff to get in. There we go. That's the way. And then these little things anchor from behind. If I can figure out how they go. And they've got these little clips that are reusable. You can't probably see what I'm doing. I'm just plugging that in. Clipping it shut. Now I am fussy with screws being the right ones. These ones used in here, like a pan head. Most of the Toyota screws look a bit like that. This one's like flat. I don't know if you can see the difference. This one, I just rattled on it because it was all rusty and looked horrible. A lot of the bolts that came, screws that came out looked a bit like that. I'm sort of leaning back. And these ones, if you can see a difference there. Anyway, so those pan head ones go in. Because you see them, bugger off bird. And it's important they're the same. The other thing is the radios use these ones that have a built-on broad washer and they're like a hex head. And so, I don't know, it's just a thing of mine. I don't like seeing odd screws and fasteners. I think it looks terrible. I'm just going to throw that in there. I didn't do this particularly well. Hang on. Oh, there we go. And then I can put that. And so they're all the same, you know. That's how they're supposed to be. So, where is that other thing? Hang on a minute. Here it is. I didn't paint this. I just sort of cleaned it up and I'm putting it back on. And the other odds and ends, hazard flushes, and all that sort of stuff. And that clicks in the bottom. Should do. There's a spider going. And screws in the top. And it's a nice little job. It's just the only thing I don't like is that glove box. But I've spent so much money on this car now. I have to. Well, I wanted to put a new cam belt in and service it, which I'll do. But I do have to watch the money. So a glove box isn't going to cost much. But I might leave that for Graham. If he wants to put one in, he can go and get one. And if I looked at the one with a cup holder, because Starlets don't have them. Some of the Glanzers do. They're a bit more expensive though. And people tend to ask a lot of money for that sort of thing. And these, again, clip down and in. Like that. Oh, I haven't done that very well. Hang on a minute. I'll just tuck that in. That's a bit untidy. Alright. And we'll use these nice screws from in here because they were all rusty and horrible before. And I think we're almost ready to chuck some seats in. Well, that's it for today. Doesn't it look nice? I haven't put the steering wheel on because I can't find it. It's not where I thought it would be. I can find an immaculate 96, 97 one, but they're different. They don't have airbag. And at least to put them in, you need to change the column, the brake pedal, and the bar, the crossbar across the dash. And I've got a lad so that he can put that in later if he wants, but I don't think he will. But I've got to find this other one. But that being said, that's all looking schmicko, and that's not. So I've got to put the back seat in, and then I've got to start preparing and painting that guard. And look at the wiper, it's all rusty. What do you reckon? Move. Move, Cat. Move. Move. Come on. Off we go. Right, well that's all I've got for this video. Take good care of yourselves. There is a lot of that other stuff coming, the motorcycle stuff, and also, what was the other thing? I can't remember. I cannot remember. The seat cover and all this sort of stuff. And the GT steering wheel, that's right, in the next chapter. So take good care of yourselves, enjoy a classic, and I'll see you soon.